Praise be Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, Brother William. This is a tutorial on how to use your Nitrosurge device. It's designed for Nitrosurge cans. Exhibit A. Now, you might not be able to get these, and actually they're more expensive than the normal cans, so this is a hack video, basically, how to get through to the normal cans. There's a widget inside these. There's no widget inside these ones. The Nitrosurge can is actually a pint. The other one is 500 milliliters, which is important. You want to match up the size of the can to the glass that you're using. So here's a pint glass. This is a 500 milliliter glass, I think. I don't even know. Now, this is the glass that Irish people will use. This is the new style glass. We shun these glasses. It looks like a World Cup or something. But yeah, if you can, try to get the tulip glass. This is what this is called, tulip glass. Now, glass is very important. There's a few other tips, not just in Nitrosurge. We're trying to get the best Guinness possible from a can to try and make it taste like it was poured draft style in a pub. So make sure your glass is clean, obviously. But a tip on that is use a sponge dedicated just for your Guinness glass, because you don't want any grease or anything on the inside. So just use dedicated sponge for your glass. Yeah, and make sure you clean it beforehand. After you have your first pint, you can just rinse it with water. There's no problem. A little bit of water doesn't harm it. That's quite important. Clean your glass. Because there's little scratches on the inside of the glass you don't even notice. And don't wash it in a dishwasher either. And let it air dry optimally. Like, don't use a tea towel, or I suppose you could use paper towels, but just leave it upside down, air dry. It's the best way. But again, a little bit of water doesn't really matter. So the science, the technology behind the widget, first of all, this is the normal cans. You can hear the little ball inside. These are likely the ones you're getting, I assume, anyway. So the technology there is a little widget. Once you open that can, the depressurization happens. The little widget compresses and it vibrates, releasing the nitrogen gas. It's not CO2 gas in Guinness, it's nitrogen. So when that happens, that releases the nitrogen, and that's where you get your cream, the creamy head. Now in the Nitrosurge can, there's no widget inside. This is where your device comes in handy. Now, as I said, these are more expensive than these cans, so this is the hack to get past this widget. You can use the Nitrosurge with the widget and just open it up and try it, but you'll get way too big of a head. You don't want that. So you want to bypass the widget. To do that, you need to depressurize the can, and therefore, when you open the can, it won't break the widget, and then you can use Nitrosurge because it's the same substance inside. It's just a widget that's going to release the nitrogen. And yeah, it's a vibration. It vibrates. I don't know the exact science behind the widget, but basically it's a vibration, and that releases the nitrogen in your device, your Nitrosurge device. That is using ultrasonic. It's a very specific frequency, and it releases the nitrogen that way. You could actually also use a jewelry cleaner. These jewelry cleaners, it's like a little basin, and you pour water in it. Ultrasonic vibrates, and that cleans your jewelry. Or in this case, you could pour your Guinness into this with the hack. Put the pint glass in the jewelry cleaner, and it's like magic. It's crazy. Just you turn on the machine and just does its Guinness thing. I don't know what to call it. So that's the technology. Next is storage is also very important. Get your Guinness a day or two beforehand and store it for 24 hours upright. Don't have it on its side. Upright in the fridge. Now, I know Brother Ryan was saying you put it in the freezer. I don't recommend that for quality and consistency purposes. And also, we don't have Guinness ice cold. In England they do that, and we kind of shun that, to be quite honest. You want it cold, you don't want it ice cold. And also, I noticed myself, when you put it in the freezer, there's more bubbles on top. Essentially what we're trying to do is minimize the bubbles on the top, and we want a creamy consistency on the head. Now, you're probably going to, Ryan says you're still probably going to do it, but okay, fair enough, doesn't matter. It'll still, the Nitrosurge will still help. So next up is, so you're storing it in the fridge 24 hours beforehand. Let it settle in the fridge. Again, we're optimizing. Some people think it's a lot, it shouldn't be going through so much honest bother, but in my opinion, it matters to the taste. Because if you just have the can as it is, in my opinion, half the time it's a dodgy can. It has this metallic flavor. I don't know what that is. You'll still get that with the Nitrosurge. I think it's just some cans are dodgy. I don't know, but far better in my opinion. Whereas half, if you just pour it as normal, half the time you get a dodgy can. With this, you get 8 and 10, I'd say, pretty good pints. Right, so we're going to do the normal can first, and later on, I don't mind subjecting myself to the experiments, to the full can. Now, the normal can will not fit into a pint glass. It's a 500 milliliter. Try to get the same size glass, same size can to the glass, because if you do that, you'll be able to get the dome on the top. Back to aesthetics. Now, you might just think it's aesthetics, but I do think it matters, because if you get the creamy consistency, you'll get a good dome. That means you're proving your technique. If you get the good dome, it's most likely you did it right. It's kind of like coffee as well. I know you like your coffee. But in latte art, some people think the latte art is pointless. Like, yeah, the art doesn't really matter, but what it proves is the guy has done the milk properly, and he can make art with it. There's no bubbles in the foam. Right, all that aside, that's a lot of explanation. Let's pour this pint. So, Guinness Nitrosurge. How do we bypass the widget? Very simply. One sec there. We have a little pin. And we're going to insert the pin in this little hole here. It's the thinnest part of the can there. I just want to jab it in. In this case, I'm using a knife, back end of the knife. Important tip. Don't have your head over this. There's a lot of pressure in that can. If you let go of that pin, it'll fly up in your eye. So, it's not designed for this. This is a hack. Keep your head back, or keep it at head height if you can. And give it a whack. Let's put it in there for a sec. So, now, yeah. Put your finger on top of it. Make sure you don't let go. Now, this in the way. You just want to gently release the air. If you do it too fast, the widget will break. And you'll know when it's ready because you're able to squeeze the can. So when you're able to squeeze the can, you can just kind of release it. At that point, when you open the can, the widget won't break. And therefore, you can use your Nitrosurge. So stick that on top. Just line the hole with the hole on that. You can see it, pretty self-explanatory. And also note on cleaning, every time you use this, make sure you rinse it. It doesn't say on the instructions, but don't put water into there's a little charging thing back here. You just need to gently pour water down here and out through the spout. Just give it a quick rinse. Every time you use it, make sure you do that. So, on top. Remember, this won't fill this glass. If you do manage to have it the same size glass for the can, basically you want to do a 2-part pour. It's the way they do it in Dublin. So fill it up to about here, let it settle, you have black and white, and then finish it off, and you should get a dome on the top. by right. In this case, it won't fit the can, or sorry, it won't fit the glass, so I just do it in one pour. Turn on the device, with the button in the back. Make sure you have it upside down. And you can hear the ultrasonic waves coming through. I think you're supposed to have it against the glass. Right. Now, excuse me. In this case, we have a few bubbles. Not ideal, but a lot better than if you didn't use the Nitrosurge. So, as you can see, it's settling. You probably know yourself. You have to wait for it to settle. If you don't know that, it's quite important. Make sure it's complete separation of black and white. Just going to pause this for a second. Right, so we're settled pretty nicely. Now, there's one last thing. Little details. Something called lacing. It's when you drink out of it and you get these white stripes across the side. Some people say it doesn't make a difference, but in my opinion, whenever there is lacing, it's very likely to be a good pint. There's no science to it. Very hard to figure out what's actually going on here. If you clean the glass too much, you won't get any lacing. Now, I didn't over clean this glass. Oh, that's a very important thing actually. There's no grease marks on the inside. I'll show you some pictures in a second how bad it can be. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get some lacing in here. So I'm going to take a decent 2 gulps here now and see if it gets some lacing to show you. Hopefully. Sláinte. In this case, no lacing. It's completely clear. That's okay. Now I want to show you quickly what you do not want. I got these from Shetland and Guinness on Twitter. So yeah, far too big of a head. Don't want that. Absolute mess. This down here is your grease marks. So it's very likely to be a restaurant and they're washing the glasses in with the food stuff. Absolutely awful, obviously. This one has its own ecosystem. And the grease marks all over it. And all the bubbles, of course. You want to avoid the bubbles. This one, far too small of a head. Basically, you want the head to come down to around here. And there's your perfect point. If you can manage that. Oh, I hope that picture wasn't really on it. Sorry, I kind of misjudged where the camera was on this. There's the perfect point, and these are your shit ones. Too small of a head, you want it down here. Absolutely awful. Even worse. And obviously far too big of a head there. Now, I'll do a quick little video with the Nitrosurge can. So we'll fill up the pint glass with the dome on the top. So, quick example how to clean this. Again, don't get water in your charging port. It's kind of common sense, really. Just gently there. I mean, you do want to get around the whole rhythm of it, but that should do fine. Just give it a quick shake. Just let it air dry. Welcome to the shed. Now there was no lacing at the start, so it actually happens. The lacing did come through at the end. You can see it there. I'm drinking from this side, and you can see the lines there on the other side. Again, it's aesthetics. But in my opinion, when you see lacing, it generally indicates a good pint, and it looks good as well. So I just needed to show you that. I'm gonna do part. Right, part 2, Nitrosurge can into the pint glass. So this is a pint, so we'll fit the glass. So we're going for a dome. Try to get the dome on top. Hopefully it works out this time. So there's no widget in the Nitrosurge, so open her up, stick on our Nitrosurge, press our button. By the way, there's a light there at the top that'll turn on. It's about 50 seconds or so, but you can turn it on and off with this if you want to save energy. We want to fill it up to about here, and then let it settle, black and white separation, and then top her up, and we should get a dome. No bubbles, hopefully. There we go. Full tilts. A few tiny bubbles. That's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Yeah, I should probably tilt the glass as well. So about to there. Let's see if we get a better angle at that. Look good to me. Look at this. A bit of disappointment here. Very large head on it. It's a bit too big. But look. Let's see how she turns out. Right. Separated nicely. Let's finish her up. Press the button. We're going for that dome. Go on, the dome. Ooh. That's not bad. Let me see here now. Now, when you take the Nitrosurge out, there's always going to be a bubble. That's the bubble from when I took it out. But look at that cream. That's actually not bad at all. Let's do the tilt test. Let's just straighten her up there a little bit. Okay. Yeah, look at that tilt. And I got greedy. Starting to spill. There's no lacing there, but I might find a bit of lacing in a second. I'm going to pause it.